Hi guys, this is gonna be literally the first video and it's probably gonna be a hot mess because I don't have a background set up yet. I don't have like all my cool lighting like I normally do for shows. I lied, I have it, it's just not here. But you get this beautiful portrait painting of the Brooklyn Bridge because it's like one of my favorite places in the world, so you get to see that, and it's rainbow and it's beautiful and y'all just got a deal. The first video that I wanted to make for this crazy channel of mine that is probably going to be just a bunch of me talking and making no sense. I don't know, that's what I do normally, so why not videotape it, right? Okay, so I want to talk about what it means to be an empath. A lot of people are empaths like myself, but then there's a lot of other people who are like, what's an empath? Actually, just the other day, I asked someone, are you an empath? And they're like, no, I'm a Cancer. And I'm like, no, it's not a zodiac. It's something different. Rewind. I looked up, just for reference, I looked up 10 traits of an empath. And I'm gonna read these and explain what it means in my brain because I know what I am and I know what I do that makes me an empath, and I know what I think and how I feel and my intuitions and my sensitivities and all of that. I know how all of that is, but to dumb it down for those of you who don't know, then you will actually have more of a scientific reasoning behind it versus just me speaking words and you be like, oh my gosh, this bitch crazy, okay? Okay, so in my mind, what an empath is, and I actually didn't even really know what an empath is until just like about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago at most. I didn't really know why I did things the way that I did, or why I felt things the way that I felt, or why, you know, my intuitions were typically always on key, always right, and how I could just sense, you know, fakeness, or how I could sense people lying. That's what an empath is, if I'm being honest. Before I knew what an empath was, my biggest thing was there's something weird about me. There's a lot of weird stuff about me. This is just one of them. I know when someone is lying. And it's not just like, oh, I have this feeling that you're lying. No, it's like I literally know. I can feel like this weird energy when you lie, or when you're saying something that isn't right, or you're, I don't know, being fake, or whatever the case may be. Like I just can sense when you're doing that. So note to self, whenever you meet Megan in person, do not lie to me because I'll call you out. Okay, you can't fool me. So that was my biggest reasoning for really even searching up on this personality trait, if that's what you want to call it. It's definitely both a blessing and a curse. You always hear that saying, it's both a blessing and a curse to feel so deeply. I feel like empaths are literally the creator of that quote because it literally drains you when you feel that kind of negative energy, okay? So I knew that I was feeling a lot of that. I knew that I felt so much more deeply than most people that I know, and I always wondered why. And then I knew that I had some kind of ability to sense when people were not telling me the truth. Whether that be just in friends, relationships, family, whatever. I know when someone's lying to me, and I know, like, I can circle back even to like what you're actually meaning to tell me the truth, and I can figure out the truth real fast. So it's weird, right? And a lot of people will call it a psychic ability. You know, you can call it whatever you want. I just call it my intuition, and about 99.8% it's always right. Here is the breakdown of being an empath. Literally, I just typed in traits of an empath. I clicked the first one, and obviously this is a very, very doctorate way of saying this, right? From the interweb. You might as well have went to Wikipedia. Number 1, traits. Empaths are highly sensitive. Empaths have a naturally giving, spiritually open, and are very good listeners. If you want heart, empaths have got it. Through thick and thin, they're there for you, world-class nurturers. But they can easily have their feelings hurt. Empaths are often told that they're too sensitive and they need to toughen up. I get this all the time. People are like, you're way too much of an emotional person. Yes, guilty. You have way too many feelings. You're way too emotional. Why do you let stuff like that get to you? Like, I get this all the time. And it's because as an empath, you have a way of bringing in the energy that you are seeing. Okay, so if I'm talking to you in person and you're lying to me or you're negative or whatever, I'm feeling that. And not just like me having a conversation with you like, oh, I feel like you're in pain. No, 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 like I go home and it weighs heavy on me all night long, which is a lot of reasons why I think, a lot of the reason why us empaths are very sensitive, because we bring all that energy in and we don't mean to, but it just happens. You're very sensitive, you're very emotional, because not only do you feel those energies, whether they're negative or positive, but you also feel so much more deep than just a normal human being. I don't like to use the word normal because I really don't feel like normal is even a word, but a normal human being, okay? Yes, I cry a lot. Let's just put that disclaimer out there. I'm a very emotional hot mess of a human, but I'm also very sensitive. So not just with like emotion and crying, but as far as even just, I've been bullied, you know, picked on. If someone says something to me, even like the simplest thing. Here is an example. I had someone come up to me once in the grocery store and tell me they liked my eyebrows because I pencil them in and make them look pretty, okay? I went to school for makeup. I should be like, oh my God, thank you. That is a great compliment. No, instead, I got really, really self-conscious and decided to think every scenario possible, okay? Part of this is anxiety, I'm not gonna lie, but it's being sensitive. I'm highly sensitive. When I hear someone stop in their tracks and say, hey, I like your eyebrows, to anybody normal, they'd be like, oh my gosh, thank you. No, to Megan, they were like, oh my gosh, thank you. But then instantly I'm like, wait a second, did she actually mean that? Maybe my eyebrows are really bad. Maybe I have to go all bird box for the rest of this trip. Like, I don't know what her intention was with that, with telling me that. She would have been better off just not telling me she liked my eyebrows. Being highly sensitive, you get the point. Number dos. Empaths absorb other people's emotions. We kind of went over this before. Empaths are highly attuned to other people's moods, good and bad. They feel everything, sometimes to an extreme. They take on negativity such as anger or anxiety, which is downright exhausting. If they're around peace and love, their bodies take these on as well and flourish. So again, we went over that. It's honestly, when you're in a negative environment, you feel so deeply, you feel that negative energy and you literally take it on. Number 3, many empaths are introverted. This is really, really interesting, because if anybody who truly knows me, who is friends with me, they're gonna be like, Megan is not an introvert. She is 100% extrovert. She is like loud and proud, and she's a Leo. She's got that red hair. She likes to sing. She likes to get loud. And when you truly know me, yes, that is what I am. But I have really bad anxiety. I would rather stay in my house all day long. I'm kind of a hermit, especially when it comes to people that I don't know. It's not that I get nervous around crowds, because obviously I'm a singer, like it's not that at all. I just don't like confrontation. So like I literally won't even answer my doorbell. I won't answer my phone if it's a number that I don't know. I don't like to call customer service. I'd rather email or type in a chat room. Like I don't like confrontation. It's a lot of anxiety, but introverted comes with the territory. Number 4, here's my favorite. Empaths are highly intuitive. Empaths experience the world through their intuition. It is important for them to develop their intuition and listen to their gut feelings about people and scenarios. This will help empaths find positive relationships and avoid energy vampires. I mean, I'm not gonna go all Twilight, but you know, that makes sense. Yeah, you listen to your gut feeling. That's what I was saying before as far as being very intuitive. I can sit here and meet you for the first time and I'm gonna know whether you're fake or not. And if you are, I'm done, okay? As far as lying and fake people, like I sense it almost instantly. And some people will tell me, you know, that's just your intuition, whatever. I'm like, yeah, it is. But it's always like, I swear to you, it's like 99% right every single time. And I've always like found a way to figure out if it is right or not, to test that theory, and it usually is. That's really what has always drawn me into wondering why and how I am the way I am. Because I've always known that for some reason I have this like weird intuition with just about everything, and I never knew why. So that is really what even made me start like researching what personality trait is this. I don't even remember the person who told me like, I think you're an empath. And I'm like, what is that word? And then I started looking it up and I was like, Mind blown. All right, number 5, empaths need alone time. As super responders, being around people can drain an empath, so they periodically need alone time to recharge their batteries. Even a brief escape prevents emotional overload. Empaths like to take their own cars when they go places that they can leave when they please. That's pretty accurate. Alone time is key. Like I said, I like to be a hermit. Number 6, empaths can become overwhelmed in intimate relationships. This is very, very true. Overwhelmed because you think of every single possible freaking scenario that you could possibly do, and then you drain yourself because you've thought of every single possible scenario, and then you made it worse because you've already thought about 99 other scenarios by the time the first one hasn't even happened yet, and then you're let down when it actually happens because it's not anything what you thought it was gonna be. Too much togetherness can be difficult for an empath, so they may avoid intimate relationships. Deep down, they're afraid of being engulfed and losing their identity. For empaths to be at ease in a relationship, a traditional paradigm for being a couple must be redefined. I don't know that I necessarily feel that part of it, but as far as being in intimate relationships, I know that I screw a lot of intimate relationships up because I overthink and overanalyze every single possible scenario known to man. Like, why? Why? I don't know, because I'm really stupid when it comes to stuff like that, but I guess that's part of being an empath. Empaths are targets for energy vampires. Yes, 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 and yes. I feel like they're also targets for anyone who has narcissistic behavior, anyone who portrays any kind of narcissistic behavior or gaslighting. If you guys don't know what that means, I'll probably do a different video on it because I've been a victim of it multiple times. I think that when you have these strong souls who are empaths, and then you have very strong energy like narcissism or narcissistic people, they feed on that, okay? Because they know that you're sensitive and they know that you're in pain a lot. They know that you have highly intuitive thoughts, but then they make you sound crazy because they don't want to deal with their truth. That's a real thing. And I feel like empaths are very much targeted when it comes to people like that because it's happened to me multiple times. At first I was like, there really is something wrong with me, but no, it's just because this is my personality. This is who I am and what I do, and I think deep down people really are threatened by people like us because we really are the smart ones. If I'm being honest, I mean, I'm not smart all the time, let's be real. We really are the smart ones. We really are the people who you need to be talking to, but we probably are pretty threatening, if I'm being honest, because we know a lot more. We know, we get a lot more deeper emotions on things and we feel differently, and I don't know. I think that people are very much threatened by that. So targets for energy vampires, I think that that's a good word for it. Empaths become replenished in nature. Oh yes, I'm a big old nature guru. I'm kind of a hippie. I'm not like super hippie, I won't lie, but like I do love going for hikes. I love to travel. I love to see new things. I love animals. I have Native American blood in me, so I kind of blame it all on that, but I love anything and everything outdoors. I grew up in a very small town in Iowa on a farm, so I'm very used to being outdoors and very used to being a tomboy in a sense. But I love to go hiking and fishing and just being outdoors because you hear the sounds that you don't hear inside. And I like to do this alone. I'm not gonna lie. I like to go on hikes alone. I love to travel alone. Traveling alone is like a godsend. Can we just point that out? My grandpa always told me growing up that you need to sit down every once in a while and listen to the birds because there's gonna be a point in time where you're not gonna be able to do that, meaning you pass away too soon, or you know, whatever the case may be. So I've always taken that to heart, and I've always loved nature and just to sit and listen because, you know, you don't do that a lot of times. And number 9, empaths have highly tuned senses. An empath's nerves can get frayed by noise, smells, or excessive talking. That's very accurate. Again, I think that's part of just being very sensitive to a lot of things, not just emotions, but noise, smells, excessive talking, because it's all part of, you know, being sensitive and taking in that energy. And number 10, empaths have huge hearts, but sometimes give too much. Me. Woo! If that ain't accurate, I don't know what is. Like, I, 1, never take time for myself. 2, I give all my time and energy to other people. and then I get to a point where I'm like, God, I've never done this even for myself. You know, I'm the first to help you with your problems, but I'm not the first to help myself with my problems, even if they're the same problem, you know, dealing with anxiety or depression or, you know, bad relationships or abuse or, you know, whatever the case may be. I am very, 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 very much into helping others before myself. And it's actually just happened as of recent, which is why I'm making this channel for the most part, that I've really never taken time for myself to, just for self-help, just for, you know, easing your mind, just for taking some time to yourself to just like figure yourself out. Like, I don't do stuff like that. And I'm always the type of person that, like, if I'm in a fight with someone, and I'm not talking like this fight, I'm just talking like an argument with someone, if I make them feel bad, I instantly stop talking. Because even though I know that I'm in the right in that argument, like, I feel now terrible that I made this person hurt. So suddenly my feelings don't matter. And I always have to tell myself, Megan, there's two people here. You're allowed to have feelings. And I never, ever, ever do that. So this one is really, really, really true. That is the, I guess, more scientific versions of what an empath is. Obviously, there's a lot of reasons why I feel like that I'm an empath. I think that there's a lot of reasons that you guys could tell me that you are one. But if you guys have any questions about being an empath, or maybe you are just thinking maybe you are one, or you have other concerns about being one, or maybe you have another trait that I didn't mention, list them below, because like, I want to hear about this and I want to know more about this, because like I said, I know a lot about it now, but it's just within the recent few years that I really truly even heard the word empath, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is me. And I'm learning new stuff every day, so it's really interesting to hear when other people talk about it too. All right, guys, thank you. Hopefully I will continue to make these weird videos as something pops into my head and I decide, I think I need to talk about this. But don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. And check out my clothing business as well as my jewelry company. I would really appreciate that too. We'll see you on Facebook during the live shows. For now, see you later. Stay safe, love everyone, and please be kind. I would really appreciate it.